Hi guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you how to draft and cut this bustier with a built-up neckline. It is simple, detailed and beginner friendly. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. And if this is your first time on the channel, please don't forget to like, share, drop a comment and also subscribe if you are yet to. So now we're going to dive into today's tutorial proper. I'll be drafting the front block of the blouse first, after which I'll go ahead to draft the back. And I've gone ahead to insert my vertical measurement. The first line here is the shoulder line. This line here is the bust point line, while this one is the under bust line. The next is the waistline and I have the full blouse length. I'll go ahead to label them like you see me doing in the video. Next, I'm going to go ahead to start inserting the other measurement. On the shoulder line, I'll be marking my shoulder measurement divided by 2. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. I'll mark that. Then I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope and also mark. After marking that, I'll go ahead to insert the armhole depth line. So my armhole depth is 8 inch. I'll go ahead to mark that also. Then at this point, I'll go ahead to also mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2 so that I'll be able to draw a straight vertical line for the armhole depth line. After which, I'll go ahead to draw the armhole depth line. And I'll also go ahead to draw the chest line as well, after which I'll label this part as the chest line. Once I'm done doing this, the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw the front armhole. And in doing that, I'll divide what I have on the armhole depth line into 2. Then I'll come in by 0.5 inch and mark. Then I'll move over to the chest line and insert my bust measurement divided by 4 and mark. Then I'll go ahead to draw the armhole curved with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So next, I'm going to go ahead to insert the darts. So for the darts, I'll be marking half of my bust pan measurement on the bust point line, on the under bust line, on the waistline, and also on the full blouse line. So the bust pan measurement I'm working with is 7.5 divided by 2 is 3.75. I'll go ahead to mark it all the way down, after which I'll connect the point together like this. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to mark out the dart. I'm going to be marking out 2 inch for the dart, so I'll be marking out 1 inch on both sides of the underbust and on the waistline like you see me doing in the video. After marking, I'll go ahead to connect the underbust to the waistline with a straight line. After connecting it, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch from the underbust point and mark. Then I'll go ahead to draw the underbust curve with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. After connecting, this is what the underbust is going to look like. Next, I'll move over to the hemline. For the hemline, I'm not going to go ahead to come up by 1 inch also because I'm not making a 6-pieces blouse and I want that part to lay down flat. So I'm going to go ahead to mark a dart of 0.5 inch on both sides like you see me doing in the video. After marking the dart of 0.5 inch, I'll go ahead to connect the waist to the dart I just marked with my ruler like this. After connecting, this is what it is going to look like. Next, I'm going to go ahead to move over to the armhole to take out the armhole dart because I'm drafting an armhole bustier. So I'm going to be coming down by 3 inch. At this point, I'll go ahead to come down by 3 inch and mark. After marking it, I'll go ahead to connect it to the bust point with a straight line like this. Then I'll go ahead to take out the dart. So for the dart, I'll be taking out a dart of 1 inch. I'll go ahead to come down by 1 inch from this point and I'll connect it back to the bust point with a straight line again like this. Next, I'm going to go ahead to replace this 1 inch that I took out for the dart. I'll go ahead to replace it upward like this because if you should leave it the way it is, you're going to be having a shortage when you're joining the center pieces to the side piece. After marking the 1 inch upward, I'll go ahead to extend the armhole dart to that 1 inch point like this. After which, I'll go ahead to draw the new armhole. Next, I'm going to go ahead to blend this bust area to eliminate every sharp edge I have at that point. Once I'm done doing all this, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert my body circumference measurement. So on the chest line, I'll go ahead to mark my bust measurement divided by 4, which is 9 inch. Then I'll go ahead to measure what I have at this point and replace it on the side also. After doing this, I'll move over to the waistline. On the waist, I'll insert my waist measurement divided by 4. So my waist is 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. Then I'll measure what I have on this dart area, which is 2 inch, and replace it on the side. Next, Next, I'll move over to the hip and insert my hip measurement divided by 4. My hip is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. I'll replace this 1 inch that I took on the side also. After doing all this, I'll connect the sides together with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to work on the hip line, because the style we're trying to recreate is very free on the hip area. So to get that, I'm going to be going out by 2.5 inch or 3 inch and mark on the hip depth line. After marking, I'll go ahead to connect the waistline to the hip depth line using the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. After doing this, next we are going to move over to take out the bust dart. So the bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist for your front and the shoulder to waist for your back. So for me, the difference is 1.5. I'm going to be coming down by that 1.5 from the bust point line and mark. After marking that, I'll go ahead to connect it to the bust point line with my ruler like this. So this is what the bust dart is going to look like. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to mark out my sewing allowance of 1.5 inch all the way down, after which I'll connect it together with my ruler. After connecting the side, I'm going to move over to work on the hem of the blouse because the center front is looking longer than the side. So I'll be coming down by 1.5 inch on the center front like this and mark. Then on the side, I'll be going up by 1.5 inch on the side and mark that also. After marking that, I'll go ahead to connect the sides to the center front with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So this is me trying to achieve that curve we have on the blouse. Then I'll go ahead to extend the dart leg like this. So basically this is what the front block of the blouse is going to look like. So next I'm going to go ahead to move over to drafting of the back of the blouse, after which I'll come back to the front to draft the built-up neckline for the front. So for the back, I've gone ahead to mark out my zipper allowance of 1.5 inch. So you can mark whatever zipper allowance you want. Then I've gone ahead to insert my shoulder line. Here is the bust point line. Here is the waistline, and here I have the full blouse length. So remember, the front and the back blouse length is not the same. Please take note of that. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to start inserting the measurement. So I'll just go ahead to insert my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on the shoulder line, and I'll go ahead to mark, and I'm starting my measurement from this zipper allowance. After marking that, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope and mark. Then I'll go ahead to insert the armhole depth of 8 inch and mark. Next, I'll go ahead to draw the armhole depth line with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after marking the armhole depth line, I'm going to go ahead to insert my body circumference measurement. So I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4 on the chest line. Then I'll mark 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. On the waistline, I'll insert my waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add 1 inch for that and 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. Then on the hip depth line, I'll also go ahead to insert my hip measurement divided by 4 and mark. After marking that, I'm going to go ahead to mark 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance. After marking the 1.5 inch for the sewing allowance, I'll also go ahead to mark 2.5 inch extra like I did for the front hip line. Then I'll go ahead to connect the sides together with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after connecting the side, I'm going to go ahead to take out the dart now. So I'll go ahead to mark half of my bust pan measurement on the chest line all the way down to the hemline. After which I'll go ahead to connect the point together with a straight line like you see me doing in the video. So once I'm done marking the straight line, I'll go ahead to mark a dart of 0.5 inch on both sides like this. Then I'll go ahead to connect the waist to the chest line with my ruler for the upper part of the dart like you see me doing in the video. But for the lower part of the dart, I'm also going to go ahead to dart that hem part, but this time around I'll be marking a dart of 0.25 inch on both sides. For the front, I mark 0.5 inch on both sides, but for the back, I'm marking 0.25 inch on both sides. After marking, I'll go ahead to connect it to the waistline like you see me doing in the video. So next, I'm going to go ahead to replace the 0.5 inch I took out on the hemline. Then I'll go ahead to connect the waist back to the hemline like you see me doing in the video. So this is to avoid shortage when joining the front block to the back block of the blouse. Then I'll go ahead to draw the armhole for the back like this. Next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to also work on the hemline of the back like I did for the front. So I'll be coming down by 1.5 inch on the center back like this and mark. After marking the 1.5 inch, I'll also go up by 1.5 inch on the side of the back block. After which I'll go ahead to connect the center back to the side with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So next I'm going to move over to the neckline. For the neckline, 3 by 3 is not a standard for the neckline. So to know what to take for your neck width and neck depth, you divide your bust measurement by 12. So in my case, my bust is 36 divided by 12 is 3 inch. That means I can use 3 inch as my neck width and neck depth. So I'm going to go ahead to mark a neck width of 3 inch for the back. Then for the neck depth, I'm going to be marking 1 inch for the neck depth of the back. After doing that, I'll go ahead to draw a simple round neck with my ruler like this. Then I'll go ahead to draw the shoulder slope. So for the built-up neckline, I'm going to go ahead to add an extra paper so that I'll be able to draw the neckline properly. For the built-up neckline, the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to extend the shoulder slope upward like this. So you're going to go ahead to mark it outward like this. After marking it outward, from this neck width, you're going to be going in on the shoulder slope by 0.25. So I'll mark 0.25 inward like this. Then I'm going to be going outward also from the neck width by 0.5 inch and mark. So what I did is to mark 0.25 inch inward on the shoulder slope and I marked 0.5 inch outward. After doing this, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw a straight vertical line on this 0.5 inch point I just marked. So I'll draw a vertical line upward with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. After marking the line upward, I'm going to be marking 2 inch from the shoulder slope. So I'll be going up by 2 inch from the shoulder slope like this and mark. So after marking the 2 inch, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to extend the center back line upward. So I'm going to go ahead to draw the center back line upward like this. After doing that, I'm going to be going up by 2 inch from the shoulder line on the center back. So I'll mark the 2 inch upward like this. After marking it upward, I'm going to go ahead to connect the two of them together with a straight line like you see me doing in the video. Once I'm done doing this, I'll be coming down by 0.5 inch on the center back like this and mark. Then I'll go ahead to connect it to this point with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after connecting, this is what you're going to be having. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to connect this 2 inch point to this 0.25 inch I have on the shoulder slope using the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So basically this is what the built-up neckline for the back is going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to quickly do now is to work on the center back to eliminate the zipper bulge on the center back, because if you should leave it straight like this, after making the dress you will discover that the zip is bulging out. So to avoid that, I'm going to be coming in by 0.5 inch on the waistline of the center back. Then I'll go ahead to connect it to the chest line with a straight line like this, and I'll also go ahead to connect it downward with a straight line like this. After doing this, I'll go ahead to retake my zipper allowance of 1.5 inch again, after which I'll also connect the point to the chest line and also to the hem with a straight line like you see me doing in the video. So this is going to be our new zipper allowance. So now we are done with the back. Next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to come over to draw the built-up neckline for the front. So for the front, the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to insert the neck width and the neck depth. So I'm going to go ahead to mark a neck width of 3 inch and a neck depth of 3 inch, after which I'm going to go ahead to draw a simple round neck with my ruler like this. Then I'll go ahead to add an extra paper to my pattern paper so that I'll be able to draw the built-up neckline properly. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw the shoulder slope, and I'm going to go ahead to extend it all the way to the front like you see me doing in the video. So after drawing the shoulder slope, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to go in by 0.25 inch from the neck width. So you're going to be going in from your neck width by 0.25 inch and mark. After marking that, I'll also be coming out by 0.5 inch from the neck width. So you are going in by 0.25 inch and you are coming out by 0.5 inch. I hope this is clear. After marking the 0.5 inch outward, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to draw a vertical line from this 0.5 inch I just marked. So I'll place my ruler like this and I'll draw a straight line upward like you see me doing in the video. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to measure 2 inch upward like this. So this 2 inch is the height of the collar. If you want it more than this, you can make it 2.5 inch or 3 inch. After marking the 2 inch, I'm going to move over to the neck depth. So from this actual neck depth I have here, I'll be going up by 2 inch again and I'll go ahead to mark that. After marking the 2 inch, I'm going to go ahead to connect it to the 2 inch I have at the top with dotted line like you see me doing in the video. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to come out by 1 inch from this point. So I'm going to go ahead to place my tape rule like this and I'll measure 1 inch outward like this. After doing that, I'm going to go ahead to connect this 1 inch point to the neck depth with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to connect this 1 inch point to the 0.25 inch I have on the shoulder slope with the curved part of my ruler. So I'm going to go ahead to place the curved part of my ruler on it like this and I'll go ahead to connect it. So after connecting it, this is what it is going to look like. The next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to measure what I have on the front neckline. So I'll go ahead to place my tape like this and I'll go ahead to measure what I have all the way down to the shoulder slope. After measuring it, what I have was 7.25 inch. So I'll just go ahead to write it down here. Then I'll bring the back block and I'll go ahead to measure what I have on the neckline of the back also. So this is very important so that you don't have the front looking longer than the back. So I'll place my tape rule on the back like this and I'll go ahead to measure what I have all the way down to the shoulder slope for the back also. So after measuring, what I have for the back was 6.25. I'm going to go ahead to reduce the front neckline so that it aligns with that of the back. Then I'll go ahead to redraw it like you see me doing in the video. So make sure that what you have on the front and the back aligns so that when it comes to joining them together, you will not have any issue. So this is going to be the new neckline for the front block of the bustier I'm making. So I'm just going to go ahead to confirm the measurement again, and here I have 6.25. So next I'm going to go ahead to insert the neck depth. So for the neck depth, I'm going to go ahead to mark a neck depth of 8 inch from my shoulder line. So I'll mark a neck depth of 8 inch. If you want yours to be deeper than this, you can go in by 9 or 10 inch. Then for the neck opening, from this point, I'm going to be going in by 0.75 inch and I'll go ahead to mark that. So this part also depends on how open you want the chest line to be. After doing this, I'm going to go ahead to connect this point to the neck depth with the curved part of my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So if you want it straight, you can connect with a straight line. So basically this is what we are going to be having. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut it out. So before cutting, I'm going to go ahead to close up the bust dart and blend the side before I go ahead to cut. So I'm just going to go ahead to close it up, then I'll blend the side, after which I'll keep it in place with my masking tape, then I'll go ahead to cut the front block of the blouse. So just watch the way I'm cutting it so you know the actual parts you are cutting out and the parts you are not supposed to cut out. So after cutting it out, this is what the front block is going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to move over to the back block. So before cutting out the back block, make sure you place the side of the front on the back to make sure that the sides are aligning. That is, this curved part from the waist to the hem are equal. As you can see, mine are aligning. If yours is not aligning, make sure that you align that of the back with the front so that when it comes to joining the piece together, you will not have any issues. So the next I'm going to go ahead to do now is to cut the back block of the blouse. So for the back block, you can decide to work with it like this, and you can decide to draw a princess tie line. So I'm going to go ahead to draw a princess tie line, and in doing that, I'll be coming down from the shoulder by 3 inch. Then I'll go ahead to connect it to the chest line with my ruler like you see me doing in the video. So basically this is all for the back. So I'm going to go ahead to blend it, after which I'll cut out the dart on the back. So after cutting it, this is what the back block of the bustier I'm making is going to look like. And here we have the front block of the bustier I'm going to be making. So guys, in the next tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to sew this beautiful bustier blouse with a built-up neckline. So if you find this video helpful to you, please don't forget to subscribe if you are yet to. And also please like, share and drop a comment. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.